Hi, welcome to my top 20 films of 2012, and the reason why it's a top 20 list is because I couldn't possibly just narrow it down to just 10. 2012, at least in my opinion, has been an incredible year for film. And not only that, but there have been some films that didn't even make my list that I really like. Those two are The Sessions and End of Watch. Both I had problems with, but regardless, they're still great films and you should definitely check those out even though they're not on my list. So for the first 10, I'm just going to list them. I'm not going to go into any detail because I really want to save this time to talk about the films I really loved. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. And at number 20 is Perks of Being a Wallflower. Number 19 is Chronicle. Number 18 is The Grey. Number 17 is Beasts of the Southern Wild. Number 16 is Zero Dark 30. Number 15 is Wreck-It Ralph. Number 14 is The Very Funny Ted. Number 13 is Bernie. Number 12 is Skyfall. And in at number 11 is Moonrise Kingdom. Alright, so that was the first half of my top 20 list. Now to get on to the top 10 films of 2012. And kicking it off at number 10 is Nuri Bilge Ceylan's Once Upon a Time in Anatolia. What I really like about this film is that it's kind of like a Turkish version of No Country for Old Men. There are a lot of similarities, whether it be the tone or the atmosphere. It's a beautifully shot film. It's definitely something that you should check out if you like those kinds of movies. Even if you like movies like There Will Be Blood, this is worth watching. So definitely seek this one out. Coming in at number 9 is William Friedkin's Killer Joe. One of my favorite things about Killer Joe is Matthew McConaughey's brilliant performance as the psychopathic Killer Joe. He gives the performance of his life. He's absolutely great in it. He should have gotten nominated for something in my opinion, but unfortunately he wasn't. Not only that, but I love how the film is actually funny and disturbing all at the same time. There's this very infamous scene, I'm sure you've heard of it, and it involves a piece of chicken. That's all I'm going to say. It's very, very disturbing, but at the same time, very funny. Now I don't know what that says about me, but you know, I laughed at it. My pick for number 8 is Leos Carax's Holy Motors. One of my favorite things about Holy Motors is Denis Lavant's acting. He plays all these different characters and it is absolutely seamless. And what I also love about this very odd and obscure French film is that I believe it has something brilliant to say about the film industry. So if you're a film lover like myself, you should definitely check out Holy Motors. The only thing I can say is that it's not for everyone, but you should definitely give it a shot. In at number 7, we have Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained. Despite some issues I had with Django Unchained, I thought it was a great film and for the most part a great script. I thought the film was a lot of fun and I really liked the top-notch performances by Christoph Waltz, Samuel Jackson, and the one who just can't seem to win that much-deserved Oscar, Leonardo DiCaprio. And to top it off, Django Unchained has one of the best shootouts I've seen in a really long time. Number 6 is Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master. One of the many great things about The Master are the performances by Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman, and not to mention the brilliant direction by Paul Thomas Anderson. I think it's very unfortunate that The Master was snubbed for so many awards. It was snubbed for Best Picture, it was snubbed for Best Director, and not only that, and this is probably the biggest crime of all, it was snubbed for Best Cinematography, and I said this in my review. The cinematographer Mihai Malamar did an incredible job. The Master is one of the greatest looking films I have ever seen in my entire life. It is absolutely gorgeous to say the very least, and that is not an hyperbole. It's a brilliant looking film, and why this was snubbed is beyond me. My number 5 pick is Ang Lee's Life of Pi. Just like the cinematography, Life of Pi is a beautiful story of a boy and a Bengal tiger, and while watching this film I had to kind of hold back because I was getting a little choked up watching Pi interact with some of the characters. I believe Life of Pi is a beautiful film, and let's not forget Sharad Sharma gives a terrific performance as Pi. Again, another one who was snubbed by the Academy. I really believe Sharad Sharma should have gotten nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He really carries this film. Number 4 is a film I just saw a couple of weeks ago, and that is David Russell's Silver Linings Playbook. There are so many great things to say about Silver Linings Playbook. One of the best things is that Robert De Niro is actually back to being Robert De Niro. He's not in a shitty film for once. He's in something great, and that's worth praise alone. What I also love about Silver Linings is that it works great as a comedy and as a drama that follows odd yet very relatable characters. And speaking of characters, the two leading actors, Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, are great in their roles. They fit them perfectly while delivering the cleverly written dialogue. In short, Silver Linings Playbook is a great film, and it might just be David Russell's best film yet. And at number 3 is Ben Affleck's Argo. Argo is just one of those films that comes around every now and then and just gets everything right. The use of suspense is incredible, and overall, Argo is just a great, sincere story about unsung heroes. In recent years, Ben Affleck has really become a great filmmaker, and he continues to prove that with Argo. It's one hell of a film. When I saw this film back in September, I knew it was going to be number 2 on my top 10 list of films of 2012, and sure enough, it is. And at number 2 is Rian Johnson's Looper. I have now seen Looper twice, and I stand by what I said. I do think it does drag a tad in the middle, but overall, I really love this film. I had a very fun time while watching it in the cinema for the first time, and I really do believe Rian Johnson is going to be the next big thing at the end of this decade. He's a great filmmaker, and I can't wait to see what he does next. This is probably no surprise to anyone that knows me, but my number 1 pick for the best film of 2012 is Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises. Now, I've heard all the complaints, whether that be from plot holes, which I still don't see any, or the complaints regarding certain deaths, character motivations, technical errors, and my personal favorite, there's not a Batman. I can't help but think that this very loud minority has been overreacting. Unfortunately, when a film is held up on such a pedestal like The Dark Knight, it's only natural to dissect its highly anticipated finale to unbelievable amounts. If some people were to look at Rises for what it is, I believe they would realize how much of an achievement this film actually is. However, I will admit, I wasn't entirely sure of what I thought of Rises until I gave it a second viewing, and when I did, I came to the realization of what I saw, and what I saw was something truly great. I believe The Dark Knight Rises is just as good as its predecessors, if not better. Although I've been emotionally invested throughout the entire trilogy, Rises is the first time I actually found myself being deeply moved throughout Bruce Wayne's more in-depth story. Michael Caine gives a tear-inducing performance, and in my opinion deserves a supporting nod from the Academy, and not only does Michael Caine step up his game, but so does Christian Bale. Christian Bale has never been better as the Dark Knight and goes up with a total bang, no pun intended. And let's not forget about Tom Hardy's now iconic portrayal as the master villain Bane. Personally, I thought Tom Hardy was truly great, and in some ways stole the show for me. Just like the master cinematographer Mihai Malamar Jr., Chris Nolan's longtime cinematographer Wally Pfister was snubbed as well. I really believe Nolan and Pfister's collaboration has never been stronger. The scenes that are in 35mm look great and are worthy of merits alone, but the scenes that are in IMAX are just breathtaking. And those scenes, the film has a larger-than-life scale that not all cinematographers are able to achieve. And I want to touch on something really quick. Since Nolan has gained such a popular status, some people have been bashing him, and I don't quite understand it. Christopher Nolan is one of the only few directors out there who don't cut corners by clogging up the screen with heavy doses of CGI. He has a very old school way of filmmaking. He uses real people and practical effects. And if that's not worthy of some sort of accolade alone, then I don't know what is. Looking at the entire trilogy, I'll be honest, I do have some issues with all 3 films. The Dark Knight probably being the main one. But my question is, what film is free of flaws? Last time I checked, there is no such thing as a perfect film, and there never will be. Overall, given what I said, The Dark Knight Rises is, at least in my opinion, a perfect end to a perfect trilogy with a marvelous message at the heart of it. And in fact, it's films like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises is why I love film like I do. I love this trilogy, and I'm not the one who feels this way. I don't use this word lightly, but in my eyes, all 3 films are masterpieces of their own genres, and that's quite possibly the highest compliment I can give a film. Well everyone, that is my top 20 films for 2012. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? And what is your opinion on The Dark Knight Rises? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. I'm Colin Kirkland, and as always, thanks for watching.